Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Inspiration Over Ignorance podcast, where we talk everything about life, family, and business. And you can find us anywhere where you get your podcast, and we premiere a new episode weekly on Thursdays. I'm Sarah. I'm the wife on the show. I'm joined by my co-host, George, my husband, and my sister-in-law, Shanika.
Hello.
So we really appreciate the support we have gotten since the premiere of our first episode last week. Today on episode 2, we are going to be sticking to the relationship topic, and we're going to be talking about how to get out of the doghouse. So I know you're thinking, there's big doghouses and little doghouses. Are we talking about I like to dry my dishes on the wrong side of the sink, or are we talking about infidelity? So I think either way, the skills you need to get out of the doghouse are the same. So let's get started. And I want to start with an article from Psychology Today. It says that the number of single men are on a rise. They make up 62% of online app users.
Wow.
Are you guys surprised to hear that?
Yeah, because I would think it would be more women for some reason.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. I think it's definitely what has a lot to do with it is how you're brought up. So, I think if your foundation is good growing up and you've seen relationships and things of that nature, I think you'll be fine, and you'll be able to connect and understand what you need to do to uphold a relationship of any sort, like not just an intimate relationship, just friends in general. So yeah. I think that has a lot to do with it. That's just my opinion.
I just feel like there's so many women like looking for love, like we fall in love with the movie, fairy tale thing. And even when you go out to certain places, there are more women than men. So I'm just really surprised to hear about it.
So they say one of the biggest contributing causes is that they lack skills such as communication and the ability to connect emotionally. So there we go again, guys. Emotional intelligence. It's important in every aspect of your life, in your professional life, and your family, and even with your spouse. So Kenny Weiss, he's an emotional mastery coach, and he thinks that this masculine toxicity is due to society and how men were kind of taught that emotion is bad, and in return they treat women in the same way.
He calls it masculine toxicity. That's extreme words, right?
Yeah, I think there is a fine line between like toxic and a wimp. I mean, I know I've heard George call his friends henpecks. I feel like that's a form of it.
Now, is that a universal term? Does everybody know what that means?
I think, okay, we'll just put it out there, guys. Okay, a henpeck is a guy that pretty much can't think on his own terms. He has to have his mate pretty much make decisions for him. And if he does make a decision, a lot of times it's not going to be followed through. I mean, because I've had incidents where I've had made plans with certain friends and drove as far as like 45 minutes to an hour to pick him up. And when I got there, it's almost like it was a different person. Like I hadn't even talked to this guy. I was like, I thought we had planned to go. And it was like, at the time, I don't think he had relayed the message or talked it over with his wife. And when I got there, it was like night and day. He didn't know almost like he really didn't plan it. So I was like, God,
Wow.
I was like, man, come on, bro. Like we already talked this through. We knew we was going out. And yeah, I understand it.
Wow.
Why you just tell her? You should just explain, hey, we're gonna go out such and such. But for some guys, that's a tough conversation. I mean, for whatever
Wow.
reason,
he just-
insecurities. Some guys are just, I wouldn't say a wimp. I wouldn't use that word, but some guys are just, because on the flip side, here's the flip side of that. To males, they can seem like an alpha male, but with their wife or their female companion, it's totally different. It's like they're the softest guys on the planet. So that is the weird dynamics of that. And so it can be weird. So
That's interesting.
So is it that they're just more emotionally connected with their spouse and you're not able to identify that?
well, possibly, but I mean, they could be, but you still, as a man, you still have to be able to think for yourself, right? You still got to be able to make decisions and stand on them. I mean, no matter what it is. I mean, I would think. I mean, that's how I was brought up, and I guess because I was brought up with a lot of uncles and a lot of males, so if you made a decision, you went through with that. You didn't let anybody change your mind, whether it was good or bad. It was your decision. You got to stand on it. So I don't think men should let women or anybody derail the decisions they make. I mean, you got to live with them. That's you, right?
Now, is that the toxicity that that he's
Yeah,
referring
because
to?
that could be
Macho
that could
man.
cause arguments, right? But I'm saying that if you make a decision, whether it could be something that's petty, that it could possibly cause arguments, and it can,
Yeah.
it can build up over time. Like if you constantly making decisions without relent, but you can't be scared to communicate with your mate. And I think that's the problem. They're just scared to communicate and explain why this is why I want to do this. This is what I believe in. I'm happy with doing this. Can I do this? And I think that's the issue. Like you said.
I think they fear the judgment, so they want to avoid it altogether. And that's what happens with these men.
Interesting.
And, when you're unable to connect, it often carries over into the bedroom. So it's super important.
Yeah.
But I know the topic is how they can get out of the doghouse. So, George, what do you think's the best way to get out of the doghouse?
Okay. So for like small dog houses, what we call small dog houses, it's just petty arguments or something that you did around the house, some simple. I would say an immediate apology and accountability. That would be a great start, because you don't want what I've talked to a lot of older couples, and what they tell me is that, hey, you never go to sleep. I know you guys probably heard this. You never go to sleep on an argument. So you shouldn't let the issue linger out through the day. Go ahead and find out what's going on. Ask questions to your mate to try to understand why they're mad, and then apologize immediately. and then don't have pride, because that could be a bad thing. Get rid of the pride and just apology.
Meek, how do you know when an apology is sincere?
That's interesting. I guess you just have to know your person.
Definitely.
I think that's probably the biggest thing, like know your person. And, because people can just say sorry just because they know that, okay, I know I have to do this, but if you say sorry, there's no action behind it or nothing changes, then of course, that wasn't a sincere apology.
Right, correct.
I did want to ask Busta, hey, you said immediate apology, but if you don't know why you're in the doghouse, wouldn't that cause some confusion if you don't know what to apologize for?
This is true. A lot of times, that's why I was saying also, you definitely need to try to be like, hey, I don't know why you gotta kind of dig and ask your mate, what is the issue, And once you get the issue, you need to go ahead and apologize. Even and in my experience, I say, hey, this is what I live by. Not just as I got older, I found out. Even if you think you feel like you're right, you might just should apologize anyway, and just go ahead and bite the bullet, because in the long run, it's a win for you, right? So, I mean, I know a lot of guys, it's tough to grasp that, because I know
I ain't apologizing.
I ain't doing it right. I know a lot of guys with their pride, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, man, save yourself the headache. Just go ahead and apologize, get it out the way, and find out what the issue is, and see if you can just rectify the situation as quick as possible. And on the flip side, I would like to say something far as not just always harping on the guys, as far as the women's side of that, it's about your delivery. So if you do get mad about something and you are thinking about putting a guy in the doghouse, how about if it's something petty? I get guys can be aggravated, and I know we can do stuff over and over and over again. You have to, but it's about the delivery. If you can just find a way to deliver it, soften the blow a little bit, I think guys sometimes that will play back in their head when they go to make that mistake again, and makes everything better. And I think they'll fix it after that. But if it's a battered situation where you're constantly harping on them, I think they're gonna go the opposite way. They're gonna put a wall up, and it's gonna be a bad thing. I mean, I'm just trying to say it in a nice way. I mean,
yeah.
If you think just saying what I want to hear, you just said, I'm going to say sorry, even if I don't think I was wrong, I'm going to say sorry. I can feel that. And that's what goes into being a sincere, genuine apology. Don't say it if you don't mean it. I really need you to regurgitate back to me why I'm mad. Because I need you, that lets me know that you understand, and I need you to be present. So don't be looking at your phone. Don't look over my head trying to look at the TV when basketball's on.
Right. Okay.
I need
Emotional
you looking at me. Yeah. I need eye contact.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. And my language of love is service. So I guess it goes back to, depending on how well you know your mate and
It's true.
what you need to do to get there.
And that's important, guys. You have to be able to know your mate. And I mean, you should be able to pick up on what mood your mate is in at any time of the day. And she shouldn't even have to say anything. You should be able to just pick that up and understand, maybe I need to do this to try to uplift her energy. Or
do you think that's common?
That's not common. That's not common. The average guy ain't gonna have that. And that's what we call the second. And ladies, remember this phrase. That's what we call the second layer. These are the guys you need to watch. These are the guys you need to look for. If a guy, when I say second layer, let me elaborate on that. The second layer is the guy that has the emotional intelligence, what my sister was just talking about, that has that energy where you don't even have to say anything. He can come home from work and he can almost be like, hey, what happened today? Because he already know, like, hey, something ain't right. He can see your body language and know that you're not your upbeat self. He can pick that up. He's not going to be like my wife was just saying, looking at TV and talking to you like he's going to be locked in. So, ladies, you got to look for the second layer, guys. Those are the interesting guys. Those are the guys that are going to keep you on your toes. Those are the guys that are going to keep you engaged. And they definitely going to have good relationships with their parents and their mom and their grandmother. So little tips, little game I threw at y'all a little bit. Hey man, we gotta say some of this stuff, but I had to throw a little something at y'all.
I mean, even if they don't have those, just how they treat people in general when you're out together. So I have another question. Do you think that most men don't even know, like why they're in the doghouse? Do you think?
Yeah, I think guys, which everybody knows, guys are just simple. I mean, that's definitely cliche, but it's the truth. Guys are simple, and a lot of times when we get in issues, a lot of times we don't even understand what we did. I mean, we're just going throughout our day, and a lot of times, here's the funny part of it: we feel like we're doing a good deed, and and our whole day gets flipped upside down because we're in trouble and now we're in a doghouse. So
It's tough.
that's why I talked about with women. A lot of times, a big blowout can be rectified if she could just soften the blow. Because sometimes he has no clue. A lot of times, let me be honest with you, ladies, they have no clue. So
Wow.
just be easy on them. Be easy on these guys, man.
So you got to be able to ask for help. You got to be humble.
Yes. You gotta get rid of the pride, guys. Pride is a terrible thing. And if you can't get rid of pride, it's gonna be a headache for you. And I think that took me a long time. I think I was well into my 30s before I figured that out. And I felt like, hey, nobody can tell me to do nothing. I do what I want to do. I'm a man. I call my own shots. I'm saying, not thinking about when you're in a relationship, it's about a team, and we have to think on the same page. We have to do things on the same page, and you also just can't think for yourself. And some guys, they go through their whole life like they just been taking care of themselves and they've been independent. So when they get with somebody, it's tough to adjust and say, you know what, I got somebody else I got to think about as well on the same wavelength as myself. And that's tough. That's a tough adjustment.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I get it, man.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't grow up with these siblings. See, me being the oldest, you know what I'm saying, I constantly had to think about my siblings. I constantly had to help take care of my siblings. So that responsibility growing up, and that's why I said it's about your background too and your foundation. So you're able to put people in front of yourself because you know, hey, this is important. I got to step up. You know what I'm saying? Mom and dad got to go to work. I got to step up. So, and that falls and that flows into your relationships throughout life. And definitely when you're married or in a relationship or just friendships, are you selfish? Do you have empathy for other people? Can you put people before yourself? So, just my take.
That's good.
So I think another good thing is that when you let your spouse vent to you, so you got to be patient, let them get that anger out. And Hal Elrod, he has a book, The Morning Miracle, and he talks about 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes in that moment to be angry, process your feelings and emotions, and then throw it away. Get rid of it, because it build up and it's toxic for you and your spouse. So with time, I found myself, I can narrow that down to like 5 seconds. So just to go back to that example with the dishes, I might see there they are again. And in my head, I'm fussing them out. But I'm like, okay, it's okay. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
See, I'm talking about ladies. You got to be able to compartmentalize. Hey, it's not that serious. Pick your battles. Because also, what you have to understand is, and I think this is a big issue too in relationships. A lot of times it's one-sided, and some people don't really see their own faults. It's weird, but sometimes they don't see their own faults. You have to know, hey, look, hey, my ego is out the window. Hey, he deals with all my problems or shortcomings or whatever, insecurities. So I have to be able to reciprocate that energy and say, hey, you know what? These are some issues that he have. I'm just going to keep working with him, vice versa. And once you're able to do that, that's when your relationship shifts into another dimension. So you have to be able to do that, guys. You got to see your own faults, and you got to be able to not harp and point the finger all the time. And that's tough for a lot of people. And I don't care what age you're at. I mean, that's for all ages.
That's true. So. Like our mom that still gets mad at our dad for, it's like, he's been doing the same thing for 50 years. Like, why you get yourself so upset?
No need to, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Understand.
Wasted energy.
Yeah, it's not that serious. It's just going to cause.
So when you're in the doghouse, do you think it's healthy when the couples, decide to sleep in separate rooms?
Guys, that's bad. That's bad.
Not a good idea.
Okay.
The only thing I would say as far as space of getting away from your mate is if it has to be something serious. Because sometimes, and as far as that could be male or female, a lot of times, if it's something drastic, that person may need, depending on their personality, may need that space. They may need a little time. And then you may need time as well to understand the severity of what you just done. And then say, hey, or that other person, hey, look, oh man, this was pretty messed up what I just done. I need to get myself together, gather myself, and go in here and apologize, or try to make sure I let them know, hey, I realize what I've done and I want us to move forward and get past this. And that's all that, and that's the basis of it. I mean, whatever else you want to do after that, but that should be your number one goal.
That's good.
Yeah. I think some women, they hold out a little longer because they want to hit the man where it hurts. They want to take that time of intimacy away from them and penalize them as a punishment. And
not good, ladies. It's not good, ladies. And I want to say this too, like that transition for guys, like when guys are in the doghouse, like my wife was just saying, we have our lapse time is so long, and it shouldn't be like that, but it is sort of a double standard for women. And guys, and this is the question I have: is it because we're so simple, we're able to just to give in and say, hey, you know what? Oh, you know what, baby, it's okay. We'll move past it. But is it just we're so simple, we just give up? Because they're gonna make us wait. They're gonna make us harp in that issue. We're gonna dwell on that issue for a while. So if it's a day, or but we have to still do what's right, guys.
I feel like if George has something on me where he feels like, okay, I finally got her. I feel like he's gonna like act different and let me know in the morning time, and then as the day goes on, I'm like, no, you keep that same energy when it's nighttime. Keep that same energy.
You're like, it's okay. I forgive you.
All of a sudden he changes.
Guys, we can't give in, guys. We can't give in. We gotta hold it.
But no, isn't that's healthy to be able to resolve conflict in a fast manner? I think, like, I don't like being angry. So for me, that's who I am. I'm like, hey, let's just go ahead and get it out. You say what you want to say. I say what I want to say, and let's move on. Like, move I want to be able to laugh in a few minutes, or whatever it is. But that's just me. I don't like to be angry with anybody.
I totally get it. Yeah, we should be able to move on with the regular programming, right? Yeah, we should be able to watch our movies. I'll get back to our regular routine.
Right? Eating, whatever we do.
Exactly. Whatever we do on our regular basis, we should be able to get back to that. Yeah. But if we're both, if I got my pride or my wall up and I'm still trying to be mad, it's not solving anything, and we're just expanding more issues, and that just gives the other time for the other mates to be thinking about stuff that they shouldn't be thinking about. And it can evolve into something that's bigger than what it really is. It could be she's thinking about, well, where are you going? Where you going now? You leave out the door, she think he's going to do something more, and it's not even that serious. I mean, you could just have a small conversation, smooth it out, and we back to square one.
Yeah.
Immediate apology, guys. Very important. Accountability, very important.
All right, guys, it's been a good episode. I hope you guys took away some of the biggest tips here. So how to get out of the doghouse, act quickly, be sincere, humble, patient, confident, but really stay connected emotionally. That's the biggest tip. But inspiration over ignorance every Thursday, anywhere where you find your podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.
Alrighty, guys.
Bye.
God bless.